morning, Appalachian Trail Thru Hikers, family and friends, and all those that are watching. Please, before we begin, hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification so that you will know what's going on with my channel. This episode is focused on the gear that I plan to take on the trail with me this year, and the gear that I actually am taking with me on this trail. I'm only going to cover about 10 of these pieces of equipment that I have replaced with other pieces rather than try to cover everything, because I have spent a good amount of time trying to figure out what I did and didn't like. So a lot of equipment I returned, a lot of the equipment I just ended up keeping, which is what you see here, because I probably will use it in the future, or I'll have it here just in case I decide to switch it over when I leave for the trail. Anyway, I want to start off with my backpacks. Now, some of you who have been watching already know that I burnt a hole in my ULA circuit. And that was the initial reason why I got the ULA Camino, because I wasn't sure if my circuit would be back on time after being repaired. Well, the good news is it is back, but I still am going to go with my ULA Camino. Main reason for that is because I can access my gear on the front end of the pack, and that's really important to me. Next thing I would like to talk about is my water filters. Now, initially, I started about a year and a half ago with the Sawyer Squeeze Mini. Then I went to the regular size Sawyer, and the only thing I had a problem with in this situation with the CNOC bag, the 2-liter I believe, is it just was taking so much time to filter the water. So I went and did some more studying, and I ended up finding this Be-Free filter. There is a setback for the Be-Free, and that's pretty much that once this filter is bad, you're gonna have to replace it. There's no way to really backflow this particular style filter from what I understand, there is with the Sawyer Squeeze. So it's a trade-off. A new replacement probably that I'll have to get maybe halfway through is about $27 with the Be-Free. But I'm open with that because the water just filters through so much faster, and that's important to me. I don't want to spend a lot of time sitting at a water port or water area to get water because it's taken so long to squeeze it through. Next thing I'd like to talk about is my stoves. Now, initially, I went with the MSR Pocket Rocket and this Toaks. It worked out perfectly fine. It wasn't any issue with it, but what I didn't like at the time is that every time I tried to start the Pocket Rocket in windy, cold weather, it just was very difficult to get going. And I just, even having the fuel all the way open, it just wasn't starting. And when it started, it blew and the wind took it, and it didn't end up staying on. So then I went and did some research, and I found this jet boil. This is the smallest jet boil I believe that they make. It's super simple, and it's the lightest one they have. And it's actually as light as the MSR Pocket Rocket with this Toaks. So I went and checked that one out, and what I like is that it's got these little air ports or pockets all the way through around. And when I light it up, one, it distributes the heat evenly, and it makes the water boil faster. And it seemed like it was staying on a lot easier than the original MSR Pocket Rocket and the Toaks. Then there's another thing that I went with, and that was my knives. Now, both these are, I'm just gonna call them generic knives. My son bought me this one, which is just a straight knife, and I like it, and it feels great, but when it even has an area to sharpen up the knife. So for a lot of reasons, I wanted to take this. Compared to the two between each other, one's about 4 or 5 ounces lighter than the other. But when I went to try to put this in my bag somewhere, it was just too big. So then I had this other knife that I had bought when I was up in the mountains with my other son, Matthew, and we were doing a motorcycle ride, and I bought a new helmet. Well, the helmet I bought had a speaker system already inside, and it went bad. The speaker system, the wires weren't connected right. So I bought this knife in order to fix that problem. Thankfully, I was able to fix it temporarily, at least, so I could have some comms with my son while we were on the motorcycle ride. But I ended up finding that I really like this small knife. I can't really tell you what the name brand is on it. It doesn't really say. Let me see. No, it doesn't really say. I can't tell. What I liked about it is, one, that it was very small, easy. It had kind of a quick draw on it, so I liked that. And I also liked that there was this little carabiner connector at the bottom. So I can just hang this off of my bag, or I can put it inside my bag, but it's easily accessible. And I just like having a knife while I'm on the trail, mostly just to open up my my freeze-dried food and in other small situations, maybe doing some repair to my bag if I need to. Just small things I find a knife to be important to me for. So I'm going with this smaller, more portable, lighter weight knife, and I will be leaving this at home. The next thing I want to talk to you about, which has been something that has been really difficult for me, is my shoes, the shoes I'll be wearing on a daily basis. Now, as you can see, they're both Ultra, okay? But these Ultra, the Lone Peak 7s, these are the Lone Peak 6s, and my foot was kind of hanging off the side of these, and of course there was constantly some wear and tear that happened here. I've actually switched out my shoes once before when they were the Lone Peak 5s, because it just kept on ripping, and it ripped way before 300 to 500 miles, as they say that they should go. So I used their warranty, sent them back, and got some new ones. One time I had to send them back. The second time they just sent me new ones with some pictures, which I thought was great. Anyway, the Lone Peaks felt great. They worked all right. But the last year when I was on the trail, one of the things I noticed is that I was walking on the outside of my foot too much, and my foot was kind of hanging off the end of the rubber. And if you can see, the line on the outside is straight down. My foot was coming outside that line, and it just wasn't wide enough. They say these are their original foot size, so it's supposed to be one of the biggest. But they also say that these Lone Peak Olympus 5 are also the original. Now, if you can see on the outside of the Olympus, it curves out and then comes straight down. And that right there was exactly what I needed. The Olympus have more foam in them. They're a little bit of a softer walk. And they have Vibram soles on the bottom, which is great for gripping, even on wet surfaces. The Vibram sole is really, really important to me. And I'm really happy that I found these and I bought these. This is what I'm replacing with the Lone Peak 6. I may end up going back to the Lone Peak 6, the Lone Peak 7 now is what's out. And the Lone Peak 7 looked when I put them on, they felt even narrower than the original. So I think I'm going to stick with these Olympus 5s, and I think that they're going to be very successful for me on the trail. Otherwise, I may have to do some more research and see if I can find something else. I'm not really into the Hoka brand. I've had some bad experiences with that, just hurt. But who knows, maybe they have a different version that will work for me. So we'll see on that. But yeah, the Olympus 5 is what I'm taking with me on the trail. Next thing I would like to talk about is my sandals. Now, I'm just gonna have to step over the side here. Originally, I was gonna go with the Crocs like everybody else, but they're so stinking bulky, and when I put them inside my bag, I had to hang them on the outside of the bag. I didn't like my bag flopping around so much. So I went looking and see if I could find a shoe that would cover my whole foot. I wouldn't end up walking off the sides of it. That was sturdy enough to hold them onto my feet. They didn't have to use little tiny strings. Wasn't so ultra light that they were not comfortable when I was walking around town, and so on. And I found these Zero shoes. These are great. They have a nice sturdy system on the top to keep everything in place. It's not made of string. It's got a rubber piece on the side. It loops all the way across, so your feet are full, or your toes are free. You don't have those little toe groove style ones. And the bottom of them is very, very, very sturdy. And so I really like that. And so I went with these Zero shoes, and they're smaller, they pack easier, they're lighter, and I'm looking forward to using them on the trail. Then and the next thing I thought about was tripod. I want to have a tripod so I can do things like this with you, and if I'm sitting down somewhere, I don't want to have to hold my camera in front of me. I will be using my iPhone just like I'm using now. And I just needed something that was simple and capable. I started off with this DJI Osmo 5, and it worked great. It's got a little magnet that you connect, and it keeps everything center mass. So when you're holding it, when you turn it on, it will move around with you. It will follow your face. It had a lot of really cool features. Unfortunately, though, it was a little heavy, and the one that I went with is this generic. Both of them obviously can be tripods, and both of them extend up. This generic one that I got off of Amazon, let me see, there you go. I got off from Amazon. I'm able to extend up even further than this. It goes all the way up, as you can see. And it will not follow my face, but it will hold sturdy anything that my phone that I want to put in here, and it will work very, very comfortably. And I can still push a button at the bottom and use it as while I'm walking as a stick for selfies and stuff like that. So I decided to go with this design, and I think I'm going to be happy with that. And let's see, what else do I have here? I have a lot of stuff that I replaced, as you can see, but a lot of the stuff I'm going to end up keeping, and who knows, maybe you'll end up seeing it on the trail. The next thing I suppose would be my trekking poles. These are the black diamonds. These are the ones I am taking. I like how they tripod down, or they collapse downward. They aren't tripods, sorry. They collapse downward, and they're lightweight, and they have the cork handles. The initial ones that I went with are from Target, and they're a generic version that they sell there, a cheap version. They're okay, but one of the things I noticed is the way that they open up and extend. Let me show you that real quick, if I can get this off here. They open it up and extend. There's this little plastic piece right here, and I didn't know how to use it at first. And instead of pushing it in like I'm doing here, let me see. Well, see, it's already, looks like it's already broke, y'all. See what I'm saying? It's coming out. It's not working very well. It just breaks real easy, and I can't seem to get it to operate. Now that one worked, and it's locking in place, but for some reason this one is messed up. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, not really happy with the design, and I didn't want to end up with trekking poles that were going to be broke, because I use them. If you don't know how to use trekking poles and you don't think that they're of any value to you, I would challenge you to go out there and do some research, because they will really help you on your trail adventure, and you'll like them. So I went with the black diamond, and of course I got my little tape here on here just in case I need some sort of tape to maybe quickly repair something or whatever. I've actually used that tape a lot. Let's see, the other thing I wanted to change out. I wanted to change out my microphone, or sorry, yeah, my microphones and my earpods. Why? Because I started off with the AirPods. I actually have the Pros. This is just one of the old style that I have, and they were great, but last time I went out, I lost one of these on the trail. Once I lost it, it wasn't useful to me. And I didn't want to have just one in my ear, because I felt like I was going to lose that too. And I just wanted to have two in my ear. Also, I have to charge this the whole time, and that can become a pain in the neck. I have to carry a lot more extra charging stuff, and I just don't want to deal with that, and more batteries. And so I went with just the old-fashioned headphones that connect right into your phone. And this is what I'll use to listen to music, or maybe to talk to my wife while I'm on the trail. Next thing I want to talk to you about is my wipes. These are called Porta wipes. So they look like little pills, and if you dump water on them, they fold out and they become a little wipe. And they're actually great for just wiping off your face. They're great for wiping, keeping yourself clean. So they have multiple uses other than just using them in your latrine or your bathroom. I was originally going to go with these dude wipes and try to take a bunch of individuals like that. I even thought about taking one whole pack of them, but they're really, really heavy, and I just didn't see the use for them other than when I was using the restroom, and they really don't encourage something like this on the trail because it's a leave no trace. I feel like these aren't very biodegradable. So I decided to switch those out with these Porta wipes, and I'm looking forward to using them. Couple other small funny things is I was gonna bring this brush. Now you see there's nothing on my head, but it's for my beard. And my beard gets really itchy, and it's very uncomfortable when I'm on the trail if I don't keep it clean and keep the dry skin brushed off. So I was thinking, what can I get to replace that? And I found this at REI. So it's just something you can hang on your key, and see these little brush pieces here? They work, they're great. So I'm able to take that, it's lighter weight, it doesn't take up space, I can hang it off of my bag, and it's a cool little design, so I like it. And it's multi-use. It's got a little screwdriver here, bottle opener here, something to cut stuff right there on the side. So I'm very excited to have this, and this is what I'll be taking with me on the trail. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, so a lot of people use rain covers for their backpacks. I don't really want to have to pull this off immediately if it starts pouring down rain real quick and throw it on my backpack, because my backpack is going to be already wet. I could use a compactor bag on the inside. I actually have one just in case I want to, but I decided to go with these Hyperlight Mountain Gear pods, and I'm going to try these out and keep all my. They're great for keeping your equipment dry while it's inside your backpack, your sleeping bag, your tent, stuff like that, keeping it dry while you're on the trail. They're also great for putting your tent in if it's wet, or and then sticking it on the outside of your bag. So I'm going to use these pods. I'm really excited about having these. And I think that is pretty much all I can talk to you about today. That's the 5 or 10 things that I have: toilet paper, trowel, tripod, sleep mat. Oh, my sleep mats, the most important thing. Now, they're both Big Agnes, and I like Big Agnes because they have the 25-inch wide sleep pads that go by 72 or 77. You can get them longer or shorter. I think I got just the regular length. Yeah, this is 25 by 72. Both of them are 25 by 72. Originally, I got this Q-Core SLX, and I didn't know anything about the ratings on them, their point system. And what I found out is that this is a 3.2 R value, and it'd be okay if the temperatures didn't drop really, really low, but I may end up sleeping very cold if I use this one, because basically when you're sleeping on the ground, it's your mat and how much insulation is in your mat that keeps you from getting cold if it's sleeping on a cold ground. So instead of going with this Q-Core, which I will switch out for the summertime, I went with the Big Agnes Rapide SL. Same size, same design, same company. The only difference is it's got a 4.2 R value rating, and it will be sufficient enough for sleeping in colder weather on the trail where the ground is kind of still cold and is maintaining that and is just kind of making your body very cold as well. So this will keep me warm when I'm on the trail. Some of the things that are really important when you're wanting to try to keep warm when you're sleeping. Number one is your sleep mat. If your sleep mat isn't rated properly, you will be cold no matter what you put over the top of you or what you wear on you while you're sleeping, because this is what insulates you from that cold ground. Secondly, your sleeping bag. You need to make sure that you have a sleeping bag that is properly rated for the conditions that you're going to be in while you're on the trail. And finally, don't wear too much clothing, because if you wear too much clothing, then you can actually cause yourself to have a lot of sweat. You can sweat throughout the night, build up moisture, and that right there will cool your body down so quickly, and then it will be hard for you to stay warm while you're in your sleeping bag. Not to mention that even if you have the best fabrics, those fabrics will absorb your sweat and they will act as a cooling, as some cooling features as well. So you just don't want to deal with that. So make sure that you check your R value of your sleep system. You check your temperature value of your sleeping bag, and you make sure that you don't wear too much clothing. Anyway, thank you for talking with me today, and I just said talking. We're not talking. Well, I guess you're listening. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you have a great day today. If there's anything else that you would like to see me talk about before I hit the trail, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and then send me a quick message and let me know what your thoughts are and what your opinions are. Again, I look forward to seeing you on the trail. Have a great day.